Well, it is much awaited tourist season in Meghalaya. However, things are not as they should be. The tourist footfall in the hill state has been severely affected as a result of incidents of violence which happened as an aftermath of Mukroh firing incident. The state government's decision to cancel all festivals in the state and the incident of violence have deterred most tourists from coming to Meghalaya. With the tourist sector already bracing up for a possible dry tourist season, entrepreneurs who had invested in the festivals are staring at huge losses. The cancellation of major festivals like the Cherry Blossom Festival has put the organizers and investors in a quandary. Our colleague Aaron Lindog brings us this special report from Shillong.
The Mukroh firing incident has created crippling effects across the state of Meghalaya and of course Shillong itself. From acts of vandalism and arson, the suspension of internet and of course the restrictions on the movement of vehicles. Well, those aside, now the hospitality industry, the tourism industry, they've all been affected because remember exactly on the 22nd, the government of Meghalaya has decided to cancel all festivals in the state. That would also include the Megong Festival and of course the famed Cherry Blossom Festival. Now, today I caught up with a few organizers and people behind these events, people who have been affected by the sudden change on the sudden turn of events rather. Let's listen into those reactions quickly. All right, when you talk about festival, just lately the government of Meghalaya has cancelled all festivals in the state, including your Cherry Blossom, etc., etc. How has that impacted your business personally?
Yeah, first of all, it's a very tragic incident because everyone knows about the death of the 4 civilians in Mukroh. So, condolences to the bereaved family. And yeah, talking about the cancellation of the festivals, it is actually a huge loss. It has created a really negative impact in the tourism scene, in the tourism industry in the state. Because this is actually the peak season, and we've had a lot of cancellations in bookings, a lot of cancellations in our tours as well. And talking from a perspective as a person who is involved in the tourism industry, there's a huge consequences. There are huge consequences. There's a huge loss, right from the people who are the small stakeholders, as in like maybe the hawkers or maybe the people who are selling cigarettes or maybe biscuits in the roadsides in the various tourist spots. That has created a lot of impact to them because no people were traveling during those days of chaos and havoc. So it has tremendously created a lot of tension as well amongst the local people, even as the civilians, people were afraid to move out of their houses, and so many things are going on in a very negative way. But yeah, talking from a tourism perspective, also a lot of hotels have been cancelled, and I think so Cherry Blossom, which is one of the huge festivals, and also this Megong festival, which is supposed to happen. So these 2 major festivals have been cancelled. So a lot of impact has been created, and a lot of revenue is lost.
So with Christmas coming in December, do you see the business picking up pace quickly, or how does it work?
Talking about that, so to say, like we still had our tours. Some of our tours were cancelled because of the incident. The tours are supposed to be in December, but hopefully, if the situation simmers down, then basically we might see a pickup in the tourist footfall. But so to say, till date, we are still having very less number of people traveling to the state.
Jason, unfortunately, all festivals here in the state of Meghalaya have been cancelled because of the Mukroh firing incident. And in particular, I want to dwell on Cherry Blossom. How has it impacted Cherry Blossom? And as an organizer, tell us a little bit about how much has that done to your part of Cherry Blossom?
Like everybody knows, see, Cherry Blossom is a government festival. It belongs to the government. It's a property of the government. So our job is to execute and to brand the festival, to make it big, to like spread positivity around the festival brand. So what happened last year was a big success. It was great. We even got international awards for it. So this year we plan to go like much bigger, and it was really big in terms of scale. But this cancellation was something that we didn't see coming. I mean, we didn't expect that the biggest project of our lives would would be hit like so bad just 2 days before the actual event day. So it was really, really shocking for us.
So not just the organizers. I think a lot of other people are also involved in the entire process. Other stakeholders that you know involved. So walk us through that bit.
Like you said, so there are 150 stall vendors. There are so many vendors that cater to the festival production. We are working with like big artists from big agencies, big labels. All payments have been made, so you can understand the logistical implication that this festival cancellation has put on our shoulders right now. Because instead of like reaping the benefits of all the hard work that we put in for the last 6 months, we have to do like a lot of damage control. So it's something that no festival organizer is like actually prepared to do, you know. So it's sad, but it is what it is.
And before I let you go, Jason, everybody would want to know, when will the cherry blossom happen next? Would you have any idea? Are we expecting it anytime soon? Is it just cancelled or is it postponed?
Even if they want to postpone it, I don't think I can pull those big artists anytime soon, because they have like a preset tour date. I mean, like planned, like way ahead of time, which we were aware like in the beginning when we booked them. So if you want us to postpone the festival, I don't think we can pull that kind of lineup. But yes, it will happen again next year. I'm very sure it'll happen again next year. So that's the government's call, not our call. But as of right now, we are still doing a lot of damage control based on the cancellation that happened like 1 week back.
It has impacted hugely. 80% cancellations are there. So we are very left with about 20% occupancy at the moment. All the hotels are suffering. Yeah.
So with all that has happened, how is the hotel industry dealing with this ordeal right now?
We have no choice. We are trying to convince our guests to not cancel the rooms, but they are having various inquiries, various apprehensions are there. So in spite of our sincere efforts in trying to get them back, most of the people are not willing to come back because the situation has been very violent in the past few days. Yeah.
So when you say they cancel, is there an option for them? I mean, what do you do? Do you refund them back
Yes.
the amount, or how does that work?
Yes, we refund them back 100%.
Okay.
Because they are not at fault for the cancellation. It is the situation which has been created. So just like the COVID time, when the COVID was there, we had to refund the entire amount. We could not, tell them to bear the brunt. So similarly, we are refunding the entire amount. Yeah.
So now I think we've learned a lot now from the pandemic and then this incident now. So what do you think the hotel industry, the tourism industry should do right now so that they're well prepared, so that in the future you don't incur too much of a loss? What are some of the few steps that you should take right now, sir?
No, see, the stakeholders in the tourism sector are not able to take any steps to curtail these kind of situations. This is purely based on the government. The government has to, tackle these situations and make sure that the atmosphere is conducive and for the tourism business to be a success. Because let me share with you the numbers. You'll be surprised that almost 20% of Meghalaya's population is now dependent on tourism. This is not a small number. And here we are not talking about only guest houses and hotels and homestays. We are talking about the large number of people associated with the tourism sector, the small cafes, the restaurants, the suppliers to the hotels, the vegetable vendors, the meat vendors, to the street hawkers. Everyone is a beneficiary of this industry. So this is a very, very critical industry for Meghalaya, and we have to be very careful not to disturb this. The government has to take the responsibility and make sure that there is no disturbance in the tourism sector.